John Reburn, and I am a letterpress printer, primitive printmaker. John Reburn, I'm a primitive printmaker and letterpress printer. I think the biggest word for it would be history. Everything, whether it is found, reclaimed, reused, dirty, old, rusted, all of that becomes fodder for the mix of what we do. And then ultimately I am a designer. That's what I've gone to school for. It's what I've studied for, but I've turned that into a printmaking career. So everything that I have, all the experiences and all the stuff that I collect, which is why my studio is a little full and a little eclectic and it's a whole lot of odd. But every single thing in here has a story and a history and something that I can look at, and one day it hits me, I know why I have it, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to create, and I go and run from there. But it really, truly, every single thing that I come in contact with that I feel like has some sort of history is where I draw from. My entire family historically is Southwest Virginia. I mean, we have, my grandparents on my father's side is Lynchburg, my mom's side is Wytheville, both very southern Virginia cities. I grew up in Frederick, Maryland. My dad got a job as a state policeman there, so we were, that's where we had to live. But every summer we came here, and we were at Smith Mountain Lake. As soon as it filled up with, it's a man-made lake. As soon as it got filled up, we were in it. We spent every summer there. Then we'd go see the relatives down this way, and then we'd go over and see the relatives in Lynchburg. And even those two experiences are completely different in the state of Virginia. Lynchburg is so beautifully historic, stately, moneyed. There's stuff there that has been like it was almost like the New York of the South back in the day, because people would take the train from New York to New Orleans, and Lynchburg was the halfway point and it was the stopping point. They have an opera house, they had the restaurants, and they had the entertainment, and so it was a remarkable town always, even beyond its roots of industry and the factories and all the other things that were around it. On the other hand, Wytheville, completely rural. It was working class. It was so farmer driven, and the people from up in the mountains and in the hills and the Jefferson National Forest is just a remarkable difference between the two families. And yet I got to see both of those my entire life growing up. So when I decided to come back, when I was looking for a place to run my new business as a printmaking company, and I was in LA having a really nice career, but I kept getting drawn back to this region, and actually it works very well because the biggest clients for me are Atlanta and New York, and we are in the middle, so it wins on all levels. It's good.
It is cool.
Even within Roanoke, there's so many diverse little communities that it's very tough, and I think I so love a city, which I get some of that here, and I so love the rural communities, which I get here. So picking one of those, I think, could go nightly. I mean, I could choose and be happy keeping it mixed, keeping it all over. But I'm a big fan of downtown Roanoke. I'm a big fan of the urban center of this biggest city in Southwest Virginia. It makes me really happy to be a part of that buzz and noise and stuff that's going on. Well, half the reason that I actually chose Roanoke and put my money, sweat, and effort into Roanoke was that I saw potential. I saw that it is a good place to be, but I also saw that there was room for improvement. I thought there was great room to grow, great room for me to actually make some impact. And I took all of that into consideration. I was so looking for a place where you can actually settle in and make a mark doing what you want to do. All of that is, I really need, my drive in life is to constantly keep the arts alive, keep the vintage and old school hand methods of the process alive. I like hand done things. I like artwork that is completely physical and sweat equity, and that's what printmaking does for me. So there's so little arts and music education in public schools now that I think we have to constantly be throwing it out there and putting it back in their faces. Public art programs in Roanoke are fantastic now, all needing more, but we're getting there. We're doing something with it. So if I can inspire people that come into my storefront, if I can inspire during having kids come here for a class, if I can get my friends' kids to show up. I even like adult education. There's so many people that have never done anything in the realm of printmaking, or even have the freedom to create something. I think that's really what my goal is to constantly keep pushing and putting it out there and make people see and do, create, use that other side of their brain. Okay. Hand-carved wood type. It's amazing to me. I love it. Okay. So what I'm now just setting up. We measure everything into place. 39.21. Yep. 39. 21. All those years that I told my math teachers that I was going to be an artist and I would never need math, my entire life is nothing but measuring, counting, and using math as an artist. Okay. So once it's measured into place, we lock it in. I give it a test pull just to see if it's feeling like it's in the right position, which it looks like it. And I think about how much padding. I throw the brake, which gets rid of the space between, and we pull. And there's a nice embossed letter J. Does that show up on? There's some depth to it. It's really beautiful. So once we get it set up, I let the engine. The M's beautiful.
Oh, wow.
That's just the stain from years and years of use and half-ass cleaning. So when you put this ink up here on this plate, the rollers mix it but every time it goes down, the plate turns a quarter turn, so there's no ghosting of the image when it comes up again, and it doesn't stay on the same roller at the same position. It's brilliant. I mean, they've thought through everything over the years, and the way this works, it just makes me I'm fascinated. I can't get enough of how printing hasn't changed in so many hundreds of years. Okay.
That's the wood block you got.
The Q, I think, I never get to use it. So it's probably not that it's not any more beautiful. It's a rare thing. So rarity is kind of cool.
Sorry, Mike. Glad you shuttle.
Yep.
Sorry.
All good.
39, 21. All those years that I told my math teachers that I was going to be an artist and I would never need math, my entire life is nothing but measuring, counting, and using math. Sit here and pedal the press to get the wheels rolling. But once to get the wheel rolling. Speed, I've been doing this for quite a few years, so it may seem fast, but it's actually a good rhythm for me. Throughout their entire lifetime. So when you put this ink up here on this plate, the rollers mix it as they, but every time it goes down, the plate turns a quarter turn, so there's no ghosting of the image when it comes up again, and that doesn't stay on the same roller at the same position. It's brilliant. I mean, they've thought through everything over the years, and the way this works, it just makes me I'm fascinated. I can't get enough of how printing has changed in so many hundreds of years. That's a better hit. See the difference? A little more solid. Nice. Think that somebody carved that by hand. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite typefaces that I own.
So what's your favorite letter on the press? That has the wood block you got.
The presses are so basic and so well thought through and crafted that nothing had to change for hundreds of years. I mean, these pieces, there's nothing to break. Everything is cast iron, and it's just remarkable that they live on and on. And I mean, when I find one of these great old presses and they're maybe a little rusty and it hadn't been used for 50 years, a little bit of oil, a little turn into some wheels, and the thing goes right back into its original mode of working, and it is just remarkable to me. There's so many little parts and brilliant genius devices between the counters or even the way that the ink mixes. When the ink goes on this board and the rollers are moving, going over and over, the fact that this clicks and turns a quarter turn each time is a genius move because it keeps the ghost image from happening on the rollers and then transferring and giving you a bad print. These are all things that somebody had to think through and improve upon, but in general, the presses have not really changed, but these little genius moves made them remarkable. I have a diverse group of clients. I think I do so much wedding work because that's, I think, where letterpress printers get relegated because we are perfect for small run, individual, labor-intensive projects. And I love working on those projects, but my most favorite project is sitting here with nothing on my schedule, nothing on the agenda, and that's when some real good design happens. I pull things from the drawers. It's not like you can, with a computer where I get to choose a million typefaces, I get to pull from an entire library of work. No, this is, you have to work with what you have. You have to use artwork, antique castings, antique type, and you make it work. That's when it's quintessentially letterpress. It looks letterpress, it feels it, but I think that's when the real good stuff happens in my life. And so tinkering, playing, experimenting, that's what does it.
Oh yeah. There's like a great level of.
So what's the project?
It is kind of a biopic on the entire state of Virginia. There you go.
The presses are all.
Production company there, the ones editing it, and they hired us because they didn't know anything about Virginia. Thanks, Ed. And. They don't want anybody looking at the camera. Sure. So I'd say look at me. And
It's all type.
gosh.
Each drawer is one type size, one type style.
Can I ask you one or two questions? You talked about how you kind of love the process of the printing press. Can you talk about kind of like what is your kind of
Ink mixes when the ink goes on this board and the rollers are summer, I work. I don't even think about it. But there are times I leave here and I'm 3 pounds lighter.
Let me get a shot of this. Is this an example of what you're doing?
That was a wedding invitation, yeah. And that was a nice couple of good clients, so I'm all for that one.
That's cool. Like I do wedding videography,
Oh,
and
yeah, and you know.
oh yeah, a lot of it is.